Hey, welcome back to the series. In this episode, we are going to see how to set up MongoDB on our local machine and also in the cloud. So since we are using MongoDB as a database in the example project, there are few options where you can set up a MongoDB instance. So the first option is you can install MongoDB on our local machine and use it. And second option is you can actually use MongoDB Atlas, which is the cloud option where you can actually set up the MongoDB instance and use the URL to connect to the cloud instance. And also we can use Docker, but in this episode we are limiting ourselves to use either localhost one or MongoDB Atlas. So there is a entirely dedicated separate episode how to set up MongoDB and run it on Docker. But we will see that later. But for now, we will actually see local and cloud. Okay, let's get started with the installation step. So if we can Google MongoDB install, you can actually go to their installation page where you can actually see installation steps on multiple systems. So in this episode, we are going to install MongoDB on macOS. So we can actually install manually with tarball, but it is actually recommended to use brew package manager on your system to install this MongoDB. So if you are especially using Mac OS, we can install through brew. So before that, first we need to install Xcode select. So let's do that. Once that is done, the next step would be installing brew package. Let's go to HomeBrew installation instructions where you can actually see how to install brew. Before that, let's see whether you have brew installed on your machine. Sometimes you might have brew on your machine, so let's see. So on my machine, I don't have that. So okay, copy that command. Go back to the terminal and hit it there. So here you can, since I'm using Z shell, I can actually change bash to Z shell, or I can actually go to the bash and use the command in the bash terminal. So let me change that to bash terminal and use the command here. So it usually asks the password for your MacBook, but let's use my password here. Okay, now it is getting installed. Yeah, let's wait for a few more seconds. Yeah, now it's completed. So now if you look at the output, there are next steps where you need to execute these two lines on your shell so that you can actually run brew from anywhere on your machine. So let's copy the first one. So this line gets added to Z profile, and let's execute the second line as well. So once this is done, let's test whether brew works or not. Yep, so brew is actually working. Okay, now the installation is completed. Let's go back to the MongoDB installation. So copy the first command where it actually downloads the official homebrew formula. Now the second you don't have to update because we just installed brew, so you don't have to do that. Then let's copy that MongoDB community command and let's install it. So it usually takes longer. So basically I just cut the video short and I'm actually going to the installation completion step. But it usually takes more than 3 or 4 minutes. So let's wait until it is installed. Okay, now it's installed. So you have to start now the MongoDB installed on your machine. Now you have to start with brew services start MongoDB community command to start the MongoDB server on your local machine. So the services start command will actually start the MongoDB server. So you can actually validate through MongoD command. So let's do that. So when you run the MongoDB command, you can actually see this output where you can actually see all the startup script. Now let's open the Mongo shell where you can actually execute MongoDB tasks. Let's do Mongo sh where it actually connects to MongoDB server running on your local machine, and you can actually execute a lot of things. For example, you can actually see which services, which collections or which database that you are running. You can create database, you can create collections, you can do a lot more through Mongo sh. So we are going to see all that in next few seconds. So here if you look at it, so Mongo sh by default it actually connects to your local host and on the port 237017. Or you can actually give the command where if your MongoDB server is running on another thing, you can actually give those as well. So if you see here, if you run Mongo sh, it actually connects to the MongoDB which is running on localhost and also on the port 27017. If you look at show DBs, admin, config and local. Let's clear and then type the command db where you can actually see what is the current db you are in. So you can use todos. Todos is the database name. So use todos actually switch to the todos db. If you actually see show dbs, the todos db is not shown here until you insert some collections into it. So you have to insert some collections into todos, then only it actually show the db list. So now we are on todos. So let's execute this command show collections and see whether there are any collections in the db. No, there are no collections under todos. So let's insert some collections into it. So tasks is the name of the collection. So I'm going to create a tasks collection and I'm going to insert one document. So in the it's a BSON, but it's basically very similar to JSON document. You can actually type anything which is similar to JSON. So here the task one and the name, that is so yeah, I create this document which contains task one and the name. Now if you show collections, you can actually see collections named called tasks. And let's insert more. So I have inserted 3 documents in total. Let's query how many documents that we have under tasks collection. So insert one will actually insert only one document, but insert will insert many documents. So it takes the array as an input, but now we are going to find how many documents in our task collection with find command. So you can actually see there are 3 documents in it. and by passing task, it actually queries by task named called task2. So it gives you only that one. So in this way, there are so many things that you can do in Mongo shell itself. Let's drop the collection with by passing drop command or drop function. Now we are on MongoSH, and it is connected to MongoDB localhost, and it is running on port 27017. And there is another way to get that information where you can actually do db.getMongo. With this function, you can actually see where exactly it is connected to and where exactly which port that your MongoDB instance are running. There is a nice graphical user interface for this MongoDB Compass, where we can connect to our MongoDB instance which is running on our local machine. And you can actually give the URL. So by default, you can actually see the localhost URL there. But if you connect, you can actually see there are 3 databases. By default, you can see these 3 databases whenever you install MongoDB instance. So you can actually see, you can change the view as well there. I'm going to create a to-dos collection. As I said earlier, you don't see to-dos database yet, since there are no collections in it. So let's insert 1 or 2 collections so that we can actually see the database. So I'm going to create a collection called tasks, and I'm going to insert 1 document here. And we have a task and the name and also a description. And I'm going to put some random description. Now we have created 1 document, and if you run the command show collections, you can actually see the name collections called tasks. If you run the command show DBs, you can actually see the to-dos now. And refresh the page here, where the same collections which you create from terminal, you can actually see it here as well. And from this Compass, you can actually create databases, you can create collections, you can do a lot more. So I'm going to create a database called task history here. And yep, you can actually see there is another database created, which is task history. You don't need to create another database. I just created that so that I can actually show you. So let's add some data to the to-dos collection. So we have 1 document here. Let's copy this document. Let's copy the document structure so that we can actually add similar document. As you can see there, you can actually import JSON data, or you can actually create manually like this. I think it's always better to import some data. Otherwise, you have to put everything. You have to write your JSON structure manually here like this. So let's insert this document. Okay, now another document is created here. So let's go to the terminal and let's see whether we can see 2 documents or not. Yep, we can actually see 2 documents here. So since we are connected to the same MongoDB instance, it doesn't matter whether you can actually create from terminal, or you can actually add the data from the Compass itself. And as you can see, there is another Mongo shell. You can actually open Mongo shell from the Mongo Compass itself. You don't have to run from your terminal. You can actually run MongoSH from the Compass itself. So which is very good good thing because you don't have to run another terminal on your local machine. This is a nice advantage where you can run Mongo shell and also see graphical user interface on the same thing. So until now we have connected to the database which is running on our local host, and we will see in the next section we will see how to run MongoDB on the cloud. So we have a option called MongoDB Atlas where you run MongoDB instance on the cloud. So you can try this free. You can actually create your own account or sign up with Google. I'm going to sign up with the Google account that we have right now, and once the sign up is completed, it usually takes some time to complete the setup. Let's wait a few more seconds. Yes, we can choose here what is our goal and also what type of applications are we building with this MongoDB instance. There are so many languages that it can support. Since we are using NodeJS, we are actually selecting JavaScript here. Choose your option, whether serverless, M0, M10. So I have selected free option and also selected AWS provider. Let's give it a name for the cluster. I'm going to name it as to-do cluster. Since we are building to-dos database, let's create cluster called to-do cluster. Make sure you create this user and copy the password as well. And you can add your own IP address so that you can connect to this from your local machine. Oh, okay. I think my IP is already added there, so fine. And now the cluster is created. So let's connect on the connect. So there are so many ways you can connect to this instance. Since we are connecting to Compass, let's select the Compass and see. I have MongoDB Compass installed already. So copy this command. Copy this URL. So here, create another instance. Here, paste that URL. So in the place of password, you have to put your own password. If you don't remember, you can actually go to security section. Under security, go to the database access. You can edit the password or you can create another user here. So click on the edit password and auto generate the password and copy it, paste it in the connection URL. Go to Compass and let's copy the password there. Yep, you can actually see we have two databases named admin and local. You can create your own collection. You can create your own databases from here. Let's load the sample data set. So in Atlas, we have the option of loading a sample data set where you can where we can query, we can query, or we can insert, or we can play around with all those collections. As you can see, there are so much data loaded already. The collections are also called sample Airbnb, sample analytics, sample guides. So this data is varied. So different kinds of data, you can actually play with it. Like analytics, like weather data. So it's the, let's go to the Compass and also see whether we have the same collections here. Refresh the button. It may take some time to load this since the data is, I think it's, it takes some time to fetch those documents. Let's wait for a few more seconds. Yep, there you go. So we have loaded the sample data in the Atlas, and we have connected to the Atlas through Compass, and when you refresh, you can see all the data. Okay, so far we have installed MongoDB on our local machine and through cloud, and also graphical user interface, which is called Compass. So this is very important for our example project, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will keep on putting those episodes as soon as possible. And thank you again.